Skywise is on track to be the latest casualty in the South African aviation sector, but it's desperately trying to revive its flights. Earlier this week, the low-cost airline was grounded, mainly because the airports company of South Africa said it had outstanding debt. It's appealed to the President, the Vice President for help. Now it's asked the Transport Ministry to intervene and ask South African Airways to carry its passengers for a few days. Well, to discuss, we're joined by the co-chair of Skywise Airline, Tabassum Qadir. Thank you so much for joining us. It seems like you are trying everything.
Yes,
what are you doing right now?
I'm trying everything, knocking all the doors. Yes, there is a strategy which I'll announce tomorrow. But at the moment, I'm worried about my passengers who were booked from 4th to 10th December. So at the moment, my priority is to get them to their destinations.
Okay, so you're asking the Transport Ministry to ask SAA to carry those passengers for the next few days. Do you have any hope of that help? Because we have seen other airlines go down. They didn't. SAA didn't come to their rescue like a knight in shining armor of sorts.
Basically, it's not a rescue. I'm saying them that I am ready to pay them. It's because, at the moment, at the peak time, my passengers have booked at a very low price. So it will be very unlikely for them to get at the same prices. And secondly, there is no capacity in the market as we speak. So it is very difficult for them to get the capacity. So what I'm appealing is if South African Airways come and help and just accommodate those passengers, at least it can ease the predicament for them.
Okay, so you say you can pay SAA, but surely they would be skeptical because it seems like you can't pay AXA. I released a media release today. It's only 1.1 million which I have to pay for those passengers to be carried with SAA, while AXA was asking me 1.6 million, and I was able to pay at that time. I just asked for a 48 hours extension, and that was not too much to ask. How much do you owe AXA right now?
In total, I owe 4 million, but I was not accumulating debt because I was paying them advance as I was flying.
Yes.
So what could have been worst if they could have let me allowed only for 48 hours?
Okay, but you asked for that 48-hour reprieve, I think 2 days ago. So by now you should be able to pay anyway. You shouldn't be asking SAA. Okay. Explain what's going on.
Ground SAA for 2 days, and then I will see whether they can get the interim finance or not. Grounding an airline means the reputation gets damaged. Ground SAA, they are also looking for interim finance. They are also not in a cash flow to go forward 9th December. Ground them for 2 hours, only for 2 hours, and then I will see.
Like you say, your reputation does get damaged.
Of course, reputation gets. This business is all about reputation. It took me 8 months to gain the trust factor of my passengers and of my investors. Nobody wants to invest in this country where 11 airlines have been failed. So it took me to prove them that no, there is a doable business.
Well, let's go back to the beginning, because is it doable? After 8 months, you're not in a position to pay an outstanding debt.
Any business takes 8 months to break even.
But an airline, I think analysts have been saying, you have to start off with a whack of capital. Otherwise, it's just not worth going into
this capital. A personal capacity doesn't have a whack of capital. Any business needs institutional funding. Any business needs institutions behind them. So it's not you start a business, you gain the trust factor, and the institutions come to you. It's not that I'm just assuming that there was a deal. I have the proof that there was a deal which was supposed to be signed. I have all the proofs. If I have to show the proofs, I will show the proof.
Did you do your projections properly? Did you look into this and say that it was viable? Because like you say, of course, you need investment, but you came after all these other small airlines had crashed and burnt. What made you think you would be
11 airlines had a business model which was not workable. 11. All 11 airlines. Not even one had a business model.
Well, did you think you had anything different? I mean, given that 11 had...
As a business person, this was my business choice, and of course driven by passion. You need to be passionate to come into this industry. And what we are saying, what we are preaching, that Africa needs connectivity. Aren't we preaching that? And are we practicing that? So if somebody is practicing, one side we are saying Africa needs connectivity through air, and on the other side somebody has given a connectivity and you are stopping them for 1.6 million then?
But we get upset as a nation when SAA, which is our national carrier, is bailed out, uses tax money, and you're saying as a private company you believe that government should actually step in because connectivity should be a priority.
I think national carriers must be bailed. It's not that. You cannot compare a national carrier to a private airline. National carrier is our pride. It has to be bailed. Even if we have to give one single penny of our tax, we have to bail them. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want any bailout from government. I'm a private airline. Why should I ask government to bail me out? I'm not asking any government to bail me out. I started business not saying that government will bail me out. Sorry. I'm very proud of my national carrier. I tell everybody, every South African must be proud of its national carrier and must fly in South African Airways. If you ask me, I will tell government to go and bail out them tomorrow. So it's not that I'm...
Okay, you're not asking for a government bailout, but you are asking government to intervene. You're asking government to ask AXA not to call on its debts as per agreement.
I just asked 48 hours. I was about to sign the deal. I never asked too much. What I asked, 48 hours for 1.6 million, and I told them that I will pay advance as I fly. So you don't expect, on one side you are saying that you are getting billions for the air connectivity of air, and on one side I have worked 4 years on this project. I have put all my personal funding into this project. No IDC loan, no bank is behind me.
I understand it must be a very difficult time.
Difficult? I'm going through trauma. I'm going through stress. My passengers are stranded there.
How much money has been lost by this company?
Lost by this, look, every airline has to have deep topic. I won't say lost by, because I had a very good business model. If you see my history, 6 to 8 months, people were loving me. If you see my testimonials, they were so happy with me. I mean, so happy with Skywise, sorry. But you know, it's not that. I loved my Skywise. Skywise was our baby. It's not that. You can't, 200 people are sitting there. Crew is standing there to take the passengers, and unfortunately passengers are there. They want to go to Cape Town. Yes, today my aircraft came empty because I had to deliver the aircraft to the maintenance company, and it came empty while 60 passengers were there.
Tabassum, say government did intervene. Say you had received 2 days reprieve from AXA.
That time, yes.
Okay, but say that it happened. Do you believe this is really a sustainable business model? If after 8 months you're struggling, could you somehow turn it around?
If South African as a junk can be turned around, you just heard, as a junk it can be turned around. There is a chance that even after going to that rating it can be turned around. Why not an airline can be turned around? If the country can be turned around, an airline cannot be turned around?
What have you received any? I saw a response from the Transport Ministry saying this is between you and AXA right now.
I respect her. She did what a head of department must do. I respect her very much. She did what was right. I have no complaints with her. My only thing is that AXA must prove me that South African Airways is not on arrears. They must prove me that they are not on arrears, then I'm okay with them. If they cannot prove me that South African Airways is not in arrears, then I have a problem. South African Airways must prove me that by 9 December they are a going concern. Then I can also prove that by 9 December I am a going concern. I have deadline to 9 December to show that I am a going concern. South African Airways must prove me that they are also a going concern.
Who is that deadline from? What happens
Air
now?
service license gives you, when they hear all this media news, all this reputational damage, they give you time. They tell you that come and give us your story, especially are you a going concern or not.
Okay, so on the 9th of December you have to prove it, or we can categorically say Skywise will no longer
I have to prove them that I am a going concern. I will prove them. Don't worry, I'll prove them.
But
South African Airways must prove me. No, my condition is, because I know, I have a document here, I know that South African Airways doesn't have cash flow after 9 December. So they must prove me, I will prove them.
So you're saying that you're being singled out and harassed by AXA when SAA is being given a free flight.
And don't take me wrong, if South African Airways is not a going concern, the government must bail out South African Airways before 9th December. must worry about South African Airways. They must bail South African Airways before 9 December because as a shareholder, they have a right to bail South African Airways out. I want to see in 4 days a head of state can bail out South African Airways. Then I will tell that whether in 4 days I will get investor or not.
All right, Tabassum, I appreciate that this is a very hard time. It sounds like those passengers are still stuck for the next days unless
First time they did, I never said anything. They grounded me for 2 hours on 6th October. I said, okay, let me accept my mistake. I was delayed in a payment, although I was given notice on Saturday night to pay Sunday morning. You cannot get a notice on Saturday night to pay on Sunday morning.
But surely rules are rules. You know what payments have
Saturday
to be made.
night on Sunday morning, nobody in the world can give you payment on Sunday morning. But I said, okay, let me accept my mistake. It's fine. I said I never came, I never shouted, I never complained anyone. But this is the second time because I missed one investor before. Now I'm missing second investor again because they are saying your license is ASL is your investors get shaken. 2 hours you ground SA. I will see who will give money to SA.
All right,
just 2 hours.
Thank you so much for your time. That was the co-chair of Skywise Airline, Tabassum Qadir. We take a short break. All your news headlines coming up shortly.